I'm just thinking of how suitable it's going to be for those super duper long runs. So when you're getting up towards 3 hours or even more. So I was a big fan of the second model of this shoe. It's changed a little bit. This is the ASICS GlideRide Max, and these are my first impressions. But before we get into it, and if you're new here and you haven't done so yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And with the specs, it's a neutral max cushion road running shoe here by ASICS. Now coming in at a pretty good price point here in Australia, $250, $170 in the US. Now in the weight, ASICS website states that this shoe in a US size 9 comes in at 287 grams or 10.1 ounces. Now my size, half a size under that, is measuring well under that. So I'm only getting 9.6 ounces, which is 273 grams. So again, I think ASICS are selling themselves a bit short with the weights that they are putting on their website. Now in the stack here, huge stack, 44 in the rear, 38 in the front, and that's going to give us a 6mm drop. And in the upper, material that they're using is a engineered mesh. It's not too bad in the breathability department, especially through the toe box. It does build up considerably though through the rest of the shoe. It gets quite bulky around the back. It's got Nimbus vibes, but it's not as built up as the Nimbus. Really solid heel counter, just like a tank. We've got a plush amount of padding around the heel collar. And again, rolling into the tongue, it's nicely padded. It's not the stretch knit tongue that you find on the Nimbus, it's more of a standard tongue, but the tongue is gusseted and it's got like some satin or silky material on the inside of that, and your foot slides in quite nicely. Now, the lacing system, pretty standard here with ASICS, nothing jumping out to me unusually. It is a bit hard like to cinch up and tie up, but the shoe in general has got pretty low volume, so your laces don't play much of a part, or for me, in this shoe. Now the lockdown in this shoe is excellent. So in some ways I think the lockdown could be too good. So I think it just grabs my foot way too much. It really feels like my foot is locked in everywhere in this shoe, and I feel a bit constricted. So I've never really felt that too much on a shoe, but yeah, it feels like I'm too hugged in and I'm too locked down. I think I usually prefer a little bit of wiggle room. Now that's going to go into the fit. So the fit for me, I think it's coming up a bit short. So yeah, it's a bit short and there's not enough volume for me in the toe box, and I think just in the shoe in general. So I think I could have went half a size up just to get a little bit more volume, and I don't usually have that issue in this shoe. I know that the Noosa, a lot of people said that about the Noosa Tri in that shoe, but I didn't have that issue in that shoe, but I certainly know what they're talking about because I've got that feeling in this shoe. So I think if I could go again, I'd probably get a half size up, especially because this shoe is suitable or recommended for your long runs, and on your long runs, your feet do really swell. So I do like a bit more wiggle room in my long run shoes. And in the outsole here, so they have got hybrid ASICS grip. So it's a mix between of that Supreme ASICS grip that is just faultless in all conditions, and the old school AHA Plus, that's that really durable rubber. So they've mixed it up here, boosted durability and keep the grip. I've only run in this shoe so far in the dry, haven't tested it out in the wet, but I'm pretty confident it's going to be great at that. Good amount of rubber coverage on this shoe as well, pretty much most of the outskirts of the shoe there, and then they've got this channel running through the bottom of the shoe. Now in the previous versions, they used to have like a really big deep channel through it, and I think in the second model they had, you could actually see the plastic plate through the bottom. They don't have that anymore. It's filled up with this foam, but so far so good with this outsole. And in their midsole, so we've got some dual density foam going on here, so two types of foam. And it's the introduction of their brand new foam, the FF Blast Max. Now this foam is really light and airy compared to the FF Blast Plus. It's very soft to the touch and it's very soft to sink into, and it's got a bit of pop and a bit of bounce as well. So it's a very exciting foam that we're soon about to see on lots of other ASICS models, so get ready for that. Now under that, they have got a 3/4 plastic plate just to give this shoe some rigidity, but saying that, it is rigid, but I can bend it quite easily, but it has got some snapback there, as you can see. Now under the plate, they have got their old school, their FF Blast Plus Eco version, so that's the same foam that they do use in the Nimbus. That's that really dense but highly cushioned shoe, and that takes up the majority of the foam that you see there on the bottom. Now where the magic of the GlideRide is always in the geometry, and they've got their guide sole tech. So the GlideRide series has always been very famous, or it's well known just how good it is because of this really big aggressive rocker in it. It doesn't feel as aggressive in this model, but it does still have that geometry. And in the ride, so the first word that comes to mind is comfortable. So it's an amazingly comfortable shoe. These two foams work great together. So it is nice and soft without being mushy and sloppy. And it's also got a great amount of bounce as well. Very exciting to run in. So it's lots of fun as well. So you sink in very easily through this Max foam, but then it gets mellowed out really quickly by the bottom eco layer foam. So you don't feel like you're bottoming it out and you're mushing out too much. And then as you come through your foot strike, as you come out of the eco foam, and as you're coming out, you get that last bit of pop and excitement outside the Max foam and then onto the rocker. So very nice feeling ride here. Now talking about the rocker, it's not as pronounced, or is not as like aggressively rocket feeling as some of the other GlideRides have been, and that's just because of the shoe is not as rigid. So it's far more flexible than the previous versions. Is that a good thing? I'm not too sure, still working that out. But for me, it feels, geometry wise, it feels really similar to the Noosa, but just a really big max stack version of the Noosa. So what I'm liking in this shoe so far, certainly the comfort of the ride. It is, as I said before, it's just amazing, beautiful ride. And I also love and am excited about this brand new FF Blast Max foam. And what I'm still figuring out is the efficiency of the ride. I know this shoe is built for the long run. I just think that the platform itself might be a little bit too flexible to get the most out of this shoe for those super long runs. And dislikes in this shoe is certainly just how my foot feels in the shoe. It feels like it's suffocated. It feels like I've got no wiggle room. Yeah, it just feels like the lockdown is too good. And just wrapping up my initial thoughts in this shoe, so overall very impressed with the shoe. So these two foams work amazingly together. So yeah, just so soft, so bouncy. Geometry is nice, but I think the shoe could be a little more rigid to say you can get the most out of the geometry. I think it's going to be an amazing daily trainer for a lot of people, especially if they like a rocket ride, and especially if you like the Noosa. If you like that ride there, I think you're really going to love this shoe. It's going to be great for your recovery runs when you just need to tick the legs over. I'm just thinking of how suitable it's going to be for those super duper long runs. So when you're getting up towards 3 hours or even more, yeah, I think I don't know how suitable it's going to be for one of those runs, even though it should be designed for that, because I just think it's a bit too flexible for that. And I think it's just, your foot is going to get a little bit too fatigued because, yeah, just the ride, I think, is a little bit too flexible to get the most out of the geometry. But anyway, time will tell. I'm certainly going to give it lots more chances to test, but anything under 2 hours, this shoe, yeah, absolutely amazing. But anyway, guys, that's it. They're my first impressions. I'd love to hear your thoughts on my first impression review. Have you got any experience in this shoe, or did you like any of the other GlideRide models? Let me know in the comments below. And also, if you've got any questions, again, you always know to put it in the comments below. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.